right, so we're just going to review for a second and then we'll move on. So we talked last time about a gene or an allele. So remember we say we've got a chromosome, this is a copied chromosome, but one section on there, right, one little part is called a gene, and there are thousands of genes on each chromosome, and each gene codes for a protein. So if you remember back to when we talked about messenger RNA and tRNA, remember the whole goal of transcription and translation is to take that DNA and then turn it into a protein. So a gene or an allele is a section of a chromosome that codes for a protein. We also talked about there are different types of genes. There's dominant and recessive. So dominant gene we would symbolize with a capital letter, like a big R, and recessive, it would be a lowercase. And we said when these two are together, the dominant one is always going to win. So everybody has two genes, one gene from mom, one from dad, for every single trait. Okay, we talked about your different traits, so maybe the hair color, your eye color, how tall you are, all of those things. You get a gene from mom and you get a gene from dad. Now what happens is that gene from mom and that gene from dad end up coming together, and then the dominant one, if there is one, is going to win out. So heterozygous we said is two different letters, so a big R and a little r. So in this case, the big R would win because it's dominant. It overpowers the other one. Homozygous means the same, okay? So two of the same. So it's either going to be big R, or it's going to be little r. So that's kind of our review there. Today we're going to talk about two new words, genotype and phenotype, okay? Notice in this picture down below, genotype. So what do you think genotype refers to? Refers to your genes, your DNA. Phenotype is what you look like, your physical appearance. And notice we have down here genotype plus your environment equals your phenotype. Let me give you an example here. Okay, Jennifer and Karen, they're identical twins, so they have the exact same genes. It says the genes they have absorb fats twice as fast as the average person. Okay, now your environment can also change your genes or change your traits. So Jennifer eats a lot of healthy food. That's part of her environment. She's eating a lot of healthy food. Her environment's surrounded by healthy food. So her genes for obesity are not triggered. Karen eats a lot of fatty food. So her obesity genes are triggered to turn on. So just because they have the same genes does not mean they're going to be the exact same. They've also done studies with cancer. We know that if I put two identical twins and I put one of them in an x-ray machine all day, every day, and I put the other one not in an x-ray machine, one of them's going to get cancer. Why? Because their genes are their DNA is being damaged and their genes are being turned on and turned off. So different things can cause cancer by damaging our DNA or changing our genes, like smoking, getting exposed to a lot of chemicals, taking certain medications. All of these things are part of our environment. So our phenotype is our physical appearance, and this is determined by our genes and our environment. So go ahead and write this down, phenotype, physical appearance. This is a little bit easy to remember because phenotype and physical appearance both start with PH. Now we said down here, phenotype, it's not just your genes that determine what you look like or your physical appearance, it's also the environment. So phenotype is determined by your genes, your genotype. So genotype are your genes, so what DNA do you have, and your environment. So this is a super important idea. We're going to take a look at it today. We're going to look at some twins. We're also going to look at how the physical traits or physical appearance of some organisms changes in response to their environment. So there's a couple things you're going to do today. I will show them to you. So the notes, I have not put the link in here. It will be in here when you click on this document. Review, so fill in these answers to review. You're going to watch the video clip here. It's only 5 minutes, and answer these 2 questions. And then you've got a little reading. And then this reading tells you how different animals and plants become different depending on what environment they're in. And there's some questions down below at the bottom. Okay, I don't expect this taking you forever. You've got the whole week to do it. If you have any questions, please email me and I'm happy to help.